give you a couple of thoughts and take one or two questions. I've spoken extensively on this after the Gang of Eight briefing, of course, as you all know. We heard from the officials that are here still on the stage taking questions from House members. We had, I believe, a full House. I think almost every member of the House, Republican and Democrat, were present today. I think the presentations were well received. I'll note, and you'll hear from others, that General Kane in particular, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, gave a very precise, detailed narrative about the operation and what happened, and it resulted in a standing applause for him and for our service members. There's a lot of pride in this institution for the people who serve in our uniformed services, and they deserve that. We have the most effective, most precise, most professional, most trusted military in the world. The United States is the last great superpower on the planet for a reason. We're the only ones capable of executing a mission like this and being able to get in and out so quickly without any casualties, and to bring justice to a criminal who had been duly indicted under American law. Let's remember that's what this is about. It was justified because Maduro is a narco-terrorist. He was involved with international criminal regimes that were doing great harm to the American people. That's why he was indicted many years ago. And with the superseding indictment more recently in New York, we went to apprehend a criminal, and that's exactly what happened. The Department of Justice requested the action. The military was prepared, as the U.S. military always is, to do that, and now this individual will be met with justice on U.S. soil. It's a remarkable thing, and it's something that every American should be grateful for. We are not involved with boots on the ground there. We are not engaging in a regime change. As you know, a interim president has now taken the post, and they will continue. Now, our hope is that this regime will not be engaging in narco-terrorism and all of this, the terrible activity that the predecessor of the interim president was involved in. You see the applause and the elation of the people in Venezuela and those in the country here who understand what's at stake there. And I think all of our partners in the Western Hemisphere, everybody in our hemisphere, understand the necessity of this. The world is safer because Maduro is apprehended and in the hands of the U.S. Justice system now. So that's what happened. I think that's what they're going to get. You're going to have some people who have questions and disagreements on play calls, but we elected a commander-in-chief to be able to do this. President Trump is a strong president. He takes decisive action, and that sends an important message to other dangerous people, terrorists and tyrants around the world. And I think that's an important role for America to play. So,
can I pick up on the boots on the ground mention that you just gave? The administration is leaving the door open to that possibility, be it for Venezuela, be it for a potential coercion in Greenland. Based on the briefing that you got now and that you've had conversations with the administration, would you feel comfortable with service members being put in harm's way for these end games, whatever they are?
No, we don't anticipate boots on the ground. That is not the. Well, let me answer the question. That is not the administration's objective. That is not their expectation, and that I think that sentiment is shared by everybody in the auditorium today. We don't anticipate that's going to be necessary. Again, we went to apprehend a criminal. We did it with precision. It was justified, and that job has been done. We now hope that the people in Venezuela can govern themselves. We hope that democracy can be restored there in return. There are some great people in that country. They are blessed with tremendous natural resources. They ought to use that for their benefit. Now, with regard to the oil there's been lots of talk about that. There were questions about that in the room. Our U.S. oil companies have the capability to allow that infrastructure to be repaired and put back into use. And, of course, there's 30 million barrels or so that are at issue right now. The Secretary of State gave information in here that went a little further probably than the public comment that's been made, but all of that will be part of the transactions and the transition that happens in Venezuela. We're hopeful that this can happen on a very short order. We assume there will be elections set in short order, and we don't anticipate U.S. troops being needed or necessary there. We're hopeful that they can do it. Yes.
Last question, guys. What can you tell us about the governing strategy moving forward in Venezuela, and is it going to require American taxpayer dollars?
I don't expect that. I don't assume that any U.S. taxpayer dollars would be used to run an election in Venezuela. It's a competent country with good people. They just need better governance, and we hope that can be delivered in short order. I think that's the intention, certainly, of the administration and of the Congress, and we'll see what happens. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.